Hi everyone, welcome back to GVP. I am Prakhar as your guide. Today we will be discussing most important MCQ for 14 January 2022 which are related to the current affairs. So without wasting any time, let's begin. Question number first is, who has been appointed as the new Secretary General of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization? The answer of this question is option number C, Zhang Ming. China's senior diplomat Zhang Ming has taken charge as the new Secretary General of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, in which India is a member. He has taken charge from Vladimir Norov, former Foreign Minister of Uzbekistan, for a 3-year term. He was until recently China's ambassador to the European Union. The SCO comprises 8 member states, that is India, Kazakhstan, China, the Kyrgyz Republic, Pakistan, Russia, Tajikistan, and Uzbekistan. It also comprises 4 countries with observer status and 6 more as dialogue partners. India joined SCO at the Astana summit in 2017. 2022 will be an important year for the India at SCO, as for the first time it will be assumed the presidency of SCO after Uzbekistan for the period of 2022 to 2023, which will culminate with the SCO summit to be hosted by Indian side in 2023. SCO summit in the meeting of the Council of the Heads of States and along with the Council of Head of Government makes two most important dialogues mechanism along with SCO member states. Now question number second is, which of the following states has been named as the host for National Youth Festival 2022? The answer of this question is option number C, Puducherry. Puducherry has been handpicked by Prime Minister Narendra Modi to host the 25th National Youth Festival. The 25th National Youth Festival is going to be held in Puducherry from 12th to 16th January 2022. The festival has been organized as a part of the Azadi Ki Antim Mahotsav, marking the 75th year of independence, said Union Minister for Youth Affairs and Sports and Information and Broadcasting Anurag Thakur. The festival is likely to draw around 7,000 youths in the age group of 18 to 22 from across the country. Around 500 youths from Puducherry will take part in the event. The Government of India hosts National Youth Festival as a part of National Youth Week celebrations. It is organized with the aim of propagating the concept of national integration, brotherhood, the spirit of communal harmony, courage, and adventure among the youth. This aim is achieved by organizing gathering of youth and encouraging them to take part in the different activities. Now moving to the next question. The Pravasi Bharatiya Divas is celebrated every year on which day? The answer of this question is option number B, January 9th. The Non-Resident India Day, or also known as Pravasi Bharati Divas, is celebrated on 9th January every year. The aim of the event is to strengthen the engagement of overseas Indian community with the Government of India and reconnect them with their roots. On the occasion of 2022 Pravasi Bharati Divas, Union Minister of States for External Affairs P. Muralidharan will speak at a virtual youth conference on the role of Indian diaspora in innovation and new technology. Its objective is to provide an open platform for NRIs to express their feelings, outlooks, and perception about India, to create a network for NRIs in all the countries of the world and connect the younger generation with immigrants. On this day, the government puts a focus on reconnecting overseas Indians with their roots so that they can contribute significantly to the development of the country. Now, the next question is, who has been appointed as the new Secretary General of the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries? The answer of this question is option number C, Haitham El Ghais. Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries has appointed Kuwait Oil Executive Haitham El Ghais as its new Secretary General. As demand for oil continues to improve amid a mild recovery from the coronavirus pandemic, El Ghais, a veteran of the Kuwait Petroleum Corporation and Kuwait OPEC governor from 2017 to June 2021, will take the group's lead in August, replacing Mohammad Barkindo. The move comes as the oil exporters groups and its alliances prepare to decide on the future courses for oil production. OPEC Plus is expected to stick to the plan and increase production by 4 lakh barrels per day in February. Now, the next question is, which state government has announced an increase in the retirement age of state government employees from 60 years to 62 years? The answer of this question is option number A, Andhra Pradesh. According to the announcement made by the government, the change will be effective from July 1st, 2018, but the economic benefits will be given from April 1st, 2020. The hiked salary will be paid from January 2022. This means from this month onwards, the employees will get an increased salary. The state government also said that this step is expected to put an additional pressure of Rs 10,247 rupees per annum on an exchequer. However, this will impact the lives of thousands of state government employees in a positive way. Additionally, the state announces that the outstanding DA will be paid along with the salary of January 2022. The remaining dues, including the Provident Fund, insurance, etc., will be settled latest by April 2022. Now, moving to the next question: which country's president has signed a law prohibiting child marriage? The answer of this question is option number B, Philippines. The president of Philippines, Rodrigo Duterte, signed a law prohibiting child marriage, and it came into force on January 6, 2022, making child marriage illegal in the country. The law that bans child marriage in Philippines states that the states view child marriage as a practice consisting child abuse because it debases, degrades, and demeans the intrinsic worth and dignity of children. As per the British-based rights organization PEN, the Philippines has the world's 12th highest rate of child marriage. The latest law banning child marriage in the Philippines complies with the international accords on women and children rights. Now, the last question for today's session is: which of the following companies get the government passport project worth rupees 1 billion? The answer of this question is option number C, TCS. The Ministry of External Affairs has again chosen Tata Consultancy Services to implement the second phase of the Passport Seva program, the country's largest mission on critical e-governance program till date. TCS will be managing the project for another 9.5 years, which can be extended for 2 more years. While the company did not disclose the financial details of the contract, analysts tracking the company said the deal could be in the range of Rs 6,000 to 8,000 crores. In the next phase of the program, TCS will refresh existing facilities and systems and develop new solutions to enable the insurance of e-passports using technologies such as biometrics, artificial intelligence, advanced data analytics, chatbots, auto response, natural language processing, and the cloud. So that's it for today. I hope you liked this session. These were the important news and events for today. Let's meet again with some more important current affairs. Till then, stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe GBP.